Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. Today, I want to do a quick little video on identity. This is something that I've been talking about for a couple of decades now. This is always a popular topic. Many people ask me that, and many of you are asking me this again about identity and what it means. And when I talk about that this character that I'm playing isn't real, and it just goes kind of down the rabbit hole. I recorded this video actually a couple days ago, probably about 3 days ago, and what was funny is I felt to do it. I did the video, and then there was just some energy where I don't know if I didn't like the video or if it was just something just wasn't right. And so I held off on uploading it. I went to work and I had a client, and the client came in and was just distraught. He was breaking down in tears, and his wife was there, and they were like, "Well, we want to do a massage, but you have to do a massage on him very lightly." And I was just like, "Okay, well, what's going on?" And he was like, "Well, I had to give up. I slipped and fell a couple months ago, and I herniated discs, and I really messed up my back and everything. And since then, I've had to give up my business. I can't do the things I want to do." And you could just see how devastating it was for him in his mind. And in that moment, I understood why I wasn't supposed to upload the video yet because I had to redo it. And it was such an important lesson for him to understand identity because his identity was attached to him having his business and doing the job that he did, because what transpired during the massage was basically almost like a therapy session, and that's why they call us massage therapists, right? But it was kind of like a massage. It was kind of like a therapy session, and we got to talking, and he told me about how he's had to be on the go, and he's had to work, and he's had to fight his whole life. His parents died when he was 16 years old, and they had to and he had to grow up, and he had to start working. He had to drop out of high school and all this stuff. And he built this business. And now, because he didn't make the choices he wanted to in business and he had no one to rely on, now that he can't do it, the business fell apart and he just doesn't know what to do with himself. And ergo, the identity crisis, right? Because you got to remember that this identity that we are right now is just temporary. It's I always give this example. We are actors playing in a movie starring you. So in my movie, I'm starring Raina. This is just a character. This is just a character that I'm playing. And my movie is my life. And so there's always going to be different challenges, different things going on, different scenes, meeting different people, different things in my life, just like a movie would be. And as I evolve, as I change, as I grow, so does the things around me change and grow. But for many people, this identity of who they are, maybe, and this may be you, is something that they attach themselves to. And with this guy, he attached himself to my parents died young. I had to grow up really fast, and I've had a hard life since, and I finally made something, and I built something for myself for 20 years, and now I lost it all because of a silly accident that I happened, and now I can't be the person I used to be, so what am I? And I actually grabbed his hand and I held it, and I said, and I'm not going to mention his name, but I said, "Look, we'll just call him Bob. Look, Bob, you are not what you think is happening, and you are not this idea that you used to attach yourself to." And I basically told him that this is a chapter in his life that's closing, and now he has to rediscover new things about him and a new life, and it's going to be better, because I went through this just the past 6 years, where I was an athlete, bodybuilder. If you guys remember my old videos, especially in transcendental transformation, look at the way I used to be built, and I had to, and I lost it all, and so I understand his pain. But that was an identity that I was at one time. Well, now I'm at a different point in my life, and so is he. And our consciousness is our true self. This is just a character. We've played these characters so many times, the hundreds of thousands of millions of times throughout our history, no matter what planet we're on, where we're at, what dimension. We're constantly changing. These are just temporary, but our consciousness is our true self. And that's the most wonderful thing, because when we forgo the ego, when we drop the ego and we let everything go, we let go of our belief systems, our ideals, our hopes and our wants, and all these ideas that we've been taught to by society, we transform ourselves into unlimited possibilities. When you hold on to this idea, whatever you are, or what you have to do, or what you're supposed to be doing, you limit your perspective and you limit your possibilities of things that you can accomplish, experiences that you can have, and places and that you can expand to. And I don't want to say places you can go, because yes, you can go places, but I mean places you can expand to. And that's a deeper meaning than just going to physical locations. But we have to remember that our personality, so when I look at myself as Raina, and when and let me switch subjects for you. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. But when I used to go to spiritual retreats, I used to hear all the time in the groups, and the whoever was hosting would ask, "Well, who are you?" And people would say, "Well, I'm a banker, or I like to sew, and I like to wash cars. I like to," whatever it was their hobbies were, whatever. And I'm a mother, and I like to do. And they would say, "No, okay, those are the things you do, but who are you?" And they couldn't answer, because the things that we do, including our personality, is not who we are. And that's the difference between having consciousness shift in who we are and growing, versus our attachments of our identity of what we think we are. And our personality, and getting back to what I was originally going to say, getting back to our personality is only an interface, a physical interface of how we navigate throughout life. So what that means is I chose to become Raina. I chose my birth date, my hair color. Well, I still chose my hair color because it's nice and aquamarine. but my natural hair color is black. Well, now it's salt and pepper. But I chose what gender I was going to be. I chose my parents, my relationships, everything about my life and my whole life blueprint, including my personality. And why? Because my personality helps me navigate through life and allows the challenges and experiences that I'm supposed to have to help me grow be able to understand. Because if our personalities aren't fixed towards the ideas that we need to have in order for us to grow, then the situations and the challenges that we face don't really hit us. So the challenges that you're facing are based upon your personality and vice versa. So whatever things, when you look at yourself, whatever things you're not liking about who you are, what you're about, and the challenges that are hitting you, you have to realize that that is a form of separation, because you're saying, well, these challenges are making me suffer, and my personality is making me suffer. Therefore, I don't like who I am. I don't like my life. And that kind of mindset, that toxic mindset, kind of spirals us down into that frame of mind, saying, well, life is terrible, life is punishing me, the universe is punishing me, God is punishing me, and that's just not true. So our personalities, our physical interfaces, it's kind of like an operating system, where Windows operating system runs Windows components, Mac runs Mac components and computers, and so on. And if you try to, I mean, and I know for you techie people, yes, you can install Windows on Mac and vice versa. I know you can partition I know, and but let's just say you couldn't. So you couldn't put a Windows operating system on a Mac and expect it to run because it's not geared towards that. And I'm just using this as an example. I don't want to get technical and everything because I'm sure we can program it and all that stuff. But that's what I'm saying. So you are specifically geared for that. And your identity is nothing more than a role in a story. So again, I'm Raina. I have this story. I have this idea, and I have all these lessons throughout my life that I have to learn. Therefore, I created my personality. I created my identity. I created everything about me to go along with these lessons. But here's the key. Most of us stick to that identity and we chase that identity. We chase being the spiritualist. We chase being the enlightened ones. We chase being the matchmaker or the money maker or whatever. And if you actually pay attention and you observe, because that's what working into the 5D is observation, being able to see without judgment and observing how people chase and act and create their chaos and chase and these roles and attach themselves to their identities. Because the higher self says, okay, well, I have these ideas to learn. But when we incarnate, our lower self says, well, I'm this person, I'm this identity, so I have to keep going and doing these things in order for me to achieve what I want to achieve, chase my dreams, get my goals, marry, etc., and down the road. Our higher self allows a cushion of trial and error. So it allows us with very limited free will to be able to navigate some of our choices in order for us to take us either into more chaos or bring us more into alignment. And when our identity creates chaos, it's because we're choosing to create a path that will temporarily not align us with what it is, the lessons that we're supposed to be. Now, with that being said, that chaos will bring us back to alignment because we now learn that in our personality, in our identity, in what this character we're playing, that chaos is something that I did not enjoy. So for some of us, we will go back and we'll say, okay, I will make different choices, or in your case, you'll say better choices. But for many of us, we attach ourselves to ourselves and we attach ourselves to the roles that we're playing. So when we look at life, we have to understand that many times our ego is in control. Just like I was giving the example of this guy, our ego is our chaotic side of the ego. First, let me say this, that there is a healthy side to the ego. There's also a chaotic side to the ego. The healthy side is what gives us confidence. It gives us self-awareness. It gives us security. It gives us insurance. It allows us to be who we truly are to be. But most of us run on the chaotic side of the ego, where we're just chasing our tail, we're chasing the next dollar, we're chasing the next championship, we're going out trying to fit in and look cool and all these different things, and we chase the things that aren't important in life, but we feel that brings value because everyone else likes it. And when we do that, we separate ourselves from our true identity. This is why so many of us struggle in life, because the chaotic side of the ego is running our life rather than the healthier side of the ego. But when we look at ourselves, when we put ourselves into the healthy ego and we look at ourselves and we say, okay, this is just a character. Raina is not real. The true self of who I am is consciousness. And that means I'm everything and everywhere and anything in all existence. So I'm this microphone, I'm you, I'm these computer monitors, I'm these lights, I'm this clothes. I am everything, because everything that I see and feel and touch in existence, and even things that aren't around, is me. Because I'm all that is and all that ever will be. And that is consciousness, not oh, I'm Raina and I need to be successful and I need to chase and I need to please a God and I need to please the universe and I need to do the law of attraction and all these different, that is not, that is chasing an identity. So, like with this guy, and I want to bring this up because I want to keep this video short. But with this guy has shaped his whole identity around everything. And like many of us, our identity is shaped by what? Our culture, our language, our experiences, our belief systems, our countries we live in, even the region of our countries, what our parents believe in, et cetera, et cetera. So if you live in America, you might believe a certain religion or spirituality or a certain type of politics or whatever. Whereas if you live in China, you're going to believe something else. If you live in Tibet, if you live in the Middle East, if you live in maybe Europe, you're going to have different belief systems. Why? Because depending on the culture and the experiences and the languages and the collective belief systems there, that is what you're going to be trained to do. So again, this identity is fake, and so are your belief systems. And until you resolve your identity and your belief systems, it's going to keep you chasing and keep you fighting and keep you arguing and keep you in judgment and misaligned. And this is how we not go to 5D consciousness. Because remember, 5D consciousness isn't a place. It's a state of awareness. It's a state of being. And again, for all you people that have been writing me too, just because you're in 5D consciousness, if you truly are, that doesn't mean that you get a free pass and nothing's ever going to happen to you. And actually, a lot of times it seems more, because you're saying to the universe now, which is you, that you can handle more, you can handle more responsibility. And so a lot more lessons, a lot tougher lessons, and a lot more challenges come to you because you're accepting that role. But I want you guys to understand that just like this guy who is devastated because he lost his business, he lost his identity, he doesn't know what to do with himself. And I spent 80 minutes during the massage that I did talking to him, trying to help him and help him understand that what he's lost is not who he is. I get it. He's hurt. He doesn't have the mobility and he doesn't have the life he used to have. And I went through that. Look at me. But you have to find a new way. You have to find growth because in your challenges, when it's time for you to evolve, yourself will tell yourself, okay, well, since you're not listening to me, I'm going to create an accident. I'm going to create damage. I'm going to create something so painful in your life that it forces you to change and reevaluate who you are and move on from the identity that you refuse to do. And as tough as it was for me to let go of softball and flag football and a lot of the things I did, even my business, I was going with my business for over 20-something years, teaching this stuff since the 90s. And I had to let it all go. And now it's slowly coming back, but I am a different person. I've changed. I do different things, my interest, because the person that I was 5 years ago or 6 years ago, even the person I was last year, or even earlier this year, I went through a slew of just challenges and a lot of old loops and a lot of things coming back from different timelines. And the person I was even at the start of this year is not the person that is in front of you right now. And the next time I do a video, it's going to be a different version of me too. And so my interface changes, it expands and it changes. Just like if you get a new keyboard, where if you maybe started out with a basic keyboard and then you get this deluxe one, then you get a gamer's one and all these tools, and it's kind of like upgrading, and you get all these different new things to play with and new challenges and that. And it's a wonderful time. It's very exciting, but you have to be able to witness that. And you have to be able to say, okay, well, my consciousness is who I am. I'm the universal intelligence. I'm just a fractal of the what, even though we call it a God, but I am God and so are you. We are the fractal part of that greater thing living an experience so that we can have a collective identity, so we can have a collective, we can have a collective information, and that's what we're doing. And so you have to be able to look at yourself and realize that who you are is not what's going to be in a year, and it shouldn't be. If you're not changing yourself every single year, at minimum, I change myself all the time, but if at minimum you're not transforming yourself and changing yourself, you're not cycling friends, you're not cycling things in your life and your taste and everything. If you're still the same person you were 5-10 years ago, doing the same habits, doing the same things, one, you're probably not watching this video, or you probably didn't make it to this point, and two, then you're just going to be stuck in that loop over and over and over until you finally have enough lives to where you're like, okay, I need to transform. So remember, if you're struggling in life with your identity, or struggling with things in your life because of who you are or what you're going through, it's there for a reason. And you have to figure it out. But the best way to figure it out is strip yourself from everything and then say, okay, well, I'm consciousness. What does that mean? Because anyone can rattle off ideas. I see it so many times on social media where people are just spouting ideas and talking about 5D and extraterrestrials and all this stuff. And you can hear that they don't fully understand what they're talking about. They're just repeating it because they want likes and they want followers and they want to make money and they want to seem like the influencer. That's chasing. That's false spirituality. That's false consciousness. To be truly consciousness is to dissolve our identity, dissolve the chaotic side of our ego, and build a healthier ego, and allow ourselves to grow in universal intelligence and awareness and become understanding that we are everything and anything. All right, everybody, I'm going to cut it there. I know this is an extra long video. I hope you stay with me. So, and thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm tired. It's late at night, and but I wanted to get this out for you guys. But we will see you guys next time, and thanks for joining us.